Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Curriculum Night, and this is for Algebra 1. I'm just going to get started looking at our Canvas page so you understand how to navigate that and know kind of what's going on there and talk about the class a little bit. On the Canvas page, as you can see here, there's some important links at the very top. We have a syllabus link, which we will go over in a moment after I'm done looking at the Canvas page. There's some office hours here that students can come get help. Students can come get help during any of those times. I have another teacher with me at those times so that we can follow district policy of having no one-on-one Zooms with students. Families, however, like to use these specific times. If you have a question about how your child's doing, use these specific times. We may be able to help you if you come during student times, but guaranteed we can find some time during this, or you can make some special schedule. We can schedule some different times and possibly meet then. Okay. In addition to office hours on the front page, there's some resources that your child might be able to use in this class. I have a link to a graphing calculator, a scientific calculator, some math help in addition to me. These are two pretty good sites that give good information, both searchable by topic. So if you're having trouble with something, you can do that. Search for it at those sites and they can show some videos. The Canvas page itself will be arranged by the week. So in this week, for example, this is the week we're looking at right now. It'll have what we're doing in class, any assignments that are due today, and then what the homework assignment is that night. Wednesday classes are for scheduled appointments or independent work days. Students do need to log into Canvas, their Canvas classes, so they're marked present on that day. But other than that, it's an independent work day and they can schedule time to get help. I'll put some special announcements, like the middle school had some testing they had to get done with. All right. And then on the next block, same kind of format, what we're doing in class, what's due, and what the assignment is. At the bottom of the page, there's some links down here as well. This will take you to our Zoom links for the class. I also included in the in-class line, so there's a couple places where you can find that. Parent resources and school resources direct you to the school webpage, so you can find out all the information about what's going on as far as special announcements and things going on school-wide. And the contact information will send you to your email. Right now with the online learning, contact is kind of limited to email. So, and I usually respond fairly quickly, so we can go ahead and do that. All right. I also said I'd share the syllabus. And so the syllabus here for Algebra 1 has contact information. It does have a phone number, but that's just going to get you in touch with the school. They can get me a message, but once again, best contact is through email, which is there. Algebra 1 is kind of been the same since I started teaching 29 years ago. I know everyone's, the new math and all this other stuff that's out there. Common Core, algebra, still fundamentally algebra. There's not much different going on in algebra than it's ever been going on in algebra. So it's most likely similar to what you learned in your algebra class when you were going to high school. The major topics are listed here on the syllabus. We're talking about the real number system, extending that past where they work with integers and rational numbers in middle school. We're going to deal with quantities, which covers expressions and using different units to solve problems, solving equations. Specifically, the type of equations that we look at in Algebra 1 are linear, quadratic, and exponential. We'll touch on some other things, but those are the three main types that we cover this year. And all the different things that we do with them, graph them, solve them, write equations, all that stuff. We're going to talk about the formal idea of a function and what those are. And this is kind of the first exposure to some formal mathematics, some formal algebra concepts that we're going to be dealing with later on in their math career. And we're also going to be talking about statistics and probability. Kind of one of the most important things in my view of math education nowadays is the statistics and probability, since data is used in society, in every facet of society, and being able to understand and interpret what people are saying is really important. All right, so that's basically what we cover in the year. In a normal year, hopefully we'll get to as much of it as we can online, but with less time to teach and the difficulties of online learning, we're prioritizing different things. We probably won't get done with everything today or this year with online learning. We also have some fundamental beliefs that I think about everybody and that I've developed over my teaching career. I do believe that everybody can do math. I've never met anybody that can't do math. It's an innate ability that everybody has, just like language. It's something that everyone can do, and that doesn't mean that everyone's going to be as good at it or as fond of it as others, but everybody can do it. And I have not been able to be convinced otherwise yet. Math is not a spectator sport. You can't just watch people do math and get better at math. You have to do it. It's a skill, and the only way to get better at a skill is to practice that skill. It's an ongoing process, and there's always math that you can find to do. I'm still learning new things in math, not necessarily every day, but every week for sure. I have multiple degrees in math, and so it's this whole idea of never ending. It never does. There's always more math to learn. And it's a word I made up, but disequilibrium means that there's going to be frustration when they're learning this year. It's a new subject. If your child knew algebra, they wouldn't be needing this class. And so learning new things can cause stress and can be frustrating. We'll get through it together, but it's going to be frustrating at times. That's just the way it goes. That's how learning new things is. You get frustrated, and then you get better at it, and you're less frustrated. And then you get even better at it, and you're less frustrated. So expect the frustration to come at some point, because we will be learning new things. All right. We also, on the other side here, have the grading policy at iTech. This is exactly the same as every other teacher. We're supposed to use this at our school, and we do. It's very different from grading any other way that you may have experience with. If you're coming here new, it used to be points were like, oh, you get this many points, you get an A, this many points, you get a B. It's not that way now. We have specific standards that we're looking at, which are just math topics and things that students need to know. And we're grading their performance based on what they know of that standard. So if you come to me and say, well, what does my child need to do to get better or to get a better grade? Instead of saying something like, oh, they need to try harder on tests, they are going to get information like they can graph linear equations, but they have trouble writing the equations down. And so we need to figure out a way that we can get help with that very specific thing that we're dealing with. So that's the difference in learning and the grading, and it's really great. It's the best that I've ever heard or seen in my time of teaching, like I say, for 29 years. And you'll have to apologize, my dog in the background, somebody came to the door. So the fun things about online learning that we get to share, right? So that's this class, Algebra in a nutshell. If you have any more questions, email me and I'll do my best to answer them. And if we need to schedule a Zoom time, we can figure out a way to do that as well. Thanks and have a great night.